Hello, YouTubers. We're going to have another one of my romantical videos in the dark here. First up, we're going to start with the numbers because I have lots of exciting stuff to talk about, so let's get that out of the way. Week 4 of losing the regain, I lost 1 pound. I went from 151.8 to 150.8. And week 5, I lost 0.6 pounds or half a pound, and I was 150.2 this morning. As far as exercise, week 4, I did Zumba, let's see here, 2 times. And week 5, I did Zumba 5 times, not on purpose, but I kind of like, my boyfriend instructs Zumba classes, and he had 2 new ones that were one right after the other, and I went with him, so I ended up doing it 5 times this week. I also went to the gym once. I did 2 miles on the elliptical, and I did arm weights. And like I've told you guys before, the nutrition part in my mind is way more important than what you're doing in the gym, because if you're eating like a maniac or eating really bad, doing stuff in the gym really doesn't matter. And actually the weeks that I've been losing more are the weeks that I haven't really worked out that much. But I also do have somewhat of an active lifestyle. Today, my boyfriend and I were rototilling a yard and planting grass seed and like moving piles of dirt from here to there. So I do definitely get exercise in my normal daily routines. First up, I want to talk about an awesome product that I started taking. Not long after I lost all the weight, I told you guys recently that I started feeling kind of weak or tired, or like I didn't have all my strength. And I thought that it was because I lost muscle while I was losing weight. Turns out that I actually had developed a gluten sensitivity, so I cut that out, and I started feeling great. Now I'm feeling even better, and I noticed a difference within maybe 2 or 3 days of taking this product. You guys know I don't come on here often and like really promote products, so now that I'm doing this means that I really believe in it. What it is it's a daily vitamin. It's a liquid vitamin, and I don't ever take vitamins, which I know is probably bad. I try to get most of them from the food I eat. But it is Garden of Life. It's called Vitamin Code, and they're liquid vitamins. But the thing is these are made from, let me turn the lights off. Sorry, I gotta ruin the mood. It's made from, and all this stuff is organic, strawberry, cherry, blackberry, raspberry, beet juice, carrot juice, spinach juice, broccoli juice, tomato juice, kale juice, and the list just goes on. But everything in here is real. It's fruits, it's vegetables, it's raw. I believe it, I don't know if it's organic, but either way, this product is awesome. It has, everything I needed it. Of the daily B12, it has 1,666%. So those of you that are struggling with B12 and you're taking synthetic vitamins, I highly recommend checking this out. I got like a mirror image going on in the computer. But the thing with this is it's real. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you take a vitamin, it's almost like a mirror image. Scientists can't create it exactly, so it's almost like a mirror image. So imagine trying, you have a glove and you're trying to stick your right hand into the left glove. Will it work? Yes. Is it ideal? Not really. So that's kind of how vitamins are when you take them. But with this product, it's real. It's coming from the earth. It's the stuff we're supposed to eat. So I love it. They also have a protein. It's raw. It's organic. Each scoop has 80 calories and I believe 17 grams of protein, but it's the same thing. Everything's organic. It's brown rice protein, amaranth sprout, quinoa sprout, millet sprout, so everything from the earth. And since I started taking the vitamins, I feel awesome. My nails have been growing quickly. They're white when they're normally clear. I have more energy. I have more strength. I just feel better overall. Like my mind has been very clear thinking lately. I was struggling a little bit with memory stuff, but now I'm feeling great. So I highly recommend those products. They are a little bit pricey, but you can find them cheaper online. But the protein was $33 and the vitamin code was $35. But when you go to the store, most of the stores that have them have a $5 manufacturer rebate. So around 30 bucks each. So combined, if I'm spending $60 a month, that breaks down to $2 a day. I definitely think I'm worth it to spend $2 a day on myself. So let's get on into the exciting stuff. And I think some of you are going to be having a very strong opinion about something I did, and I'm very curious to hear about it. So please leave me a comment down there. So I went to church on Sunday, and I I don't know if you guys have ever heard of travailing prayer, but it's kind of like crying in the Holy Spirit. And I had glanced over and I saw this woman that was a little bit large, and I just had this feeling overcome me, and I would just start crying every time I saw her. It's like, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but it's like crying on a spiritual level. It's not like I'm feeling bad for her or that she's upsetting me in some way, but it's like my spirit was crying out. And I actually kind of had an urge to sit and write her a letter and tell her, hey, this is what I've been through. If you need any help, let me know. And the feeling came so strong that, it was coming from God for me to contact this woman, that I left the church, and not the church, I left the sanctuary, and I went to write a letter. And when I'm writing it, I feel stupid. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to give this lady this letter and she doesn't know me. She's going to be so offended and I'm going to hurt her feelings. So I went back to my seat. But again, the feeling came so overwhelming, and I look over it again and I just start crying. And it's like, like feeling the pain of her spirit and remembering the pain that I went through when I was big. And my boyfriend says, a lot of people would look at her and judge her or make fun of her. But when you look at her, you have true compassion in your heart. And then he said, maybe you should think about writing her a letter. And I kind of laughed and I pulled the letter out of my pocket that I started, and I said, I did start to write a letter. And he said, well, maybe that's confirmation that you really are supposed to do it. So I left the sanctuary. I wrote the letter. I just told her a little bit about myself. Hey, I'm Kelly. I'm 29. Blah, 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 blah. I used to weigh 100 pounds more. I told her I'm a counselor specializing in addiction, and that recently I became certified to do nutrition and wellness counseling. So I told her that I understand how hard it is, but that if she was, interested in any way in having me help her, that I was extending, my hand, my heart, my spirit to her. And I also told her that, the feelings I was having really felt like they were coming from God for me to contact her, because they were so strong. And it was, like I said, overwhelming. Every time I looked at her, I just had this overwhelming feeling to reach out and help her. So my first question is for you guys is, what do you think about me asking someone or approaching someone concerning their weight? What do you guys think about approaching someone that's overweight, or approaching someone in our family that we love? Okay, so I have a feeling that some of you might say that I'm mean for approaching this woman. Maybe you put herself in her shoes. But what I did was I wrote the letter, I put it in an envelope, and I wrote on the envelope, please read when you get home. I didn't want her to read it right then and there and start crying in front of everybody, so I wrote I wrote it on the front, and I gave it to her. Come back to my seat. A few hours after church, I start feeling really bad. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I didn't do the right thing. No, yes, I did. No, I didn't. Just kind of going back and forth with myself. And I'm like, you know what? I did do the right thing, because if I had a family member or friend or someone, I've even talked to people in public before about drug and alcohol problems. I've had people approach me before for money, and I've asked them, do you have a problem with drugs? Are you going to use this to buy alcohol? And then I've helped them from there. I've had people tell me yes, and I used to be a substance abuse counselor, so I hooked them up with the phone number of where they could get treatment. I talked to them, I encouraged them. So, if we feel it's okay to approach someone that has a drug or alcohol problem, why aren't we approaching people that have problems with food? My thought is that, if I go, let's say I go to the store and I fill up the gas tank for my lawnmower, and on my way home, I drive by and I see someone stalled on the side of the road, they ran out of gas. If I continue going and I don't stop, even though I have the tools to help them, that's wrong. I have the tools to help this woman, so I decided to approach her. Probably soon I will be approaching people in my family. Lately, what's very strange is when I was heavy, everybody was skinny. Everybody in my family was skinny. I was the only odd one out. And now that I've lost weight, everybody's growing. So it's like, geez, I can't fit in because I'm just opposite. But anyways, I've been noticing everybody keeps bringing highly processed foods to our family functions. And since they've been doing that, I see that they've been growing. So I'm actually going to approach them, probably like in a mass email, just saying, hey guys, I care about you, blah, 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 blah. And I think that just because I lost weight doesn't mean I'm this righteous person and that I think I should run around talking to everyone about their weight. if somebody decides to approach someone, I think that it's good to just kind of extend your hand and say, hey, I've been through this. If you need anything, let me know. I'm here to answer your questions. I think that's a totally better approach than telling someone, oh, you're fat. I think you need to do something about your weight. It's kind of two totally different ball games in the approach. And I know it might be hard to approach people that are struggling because they might not think they have a problem. They might be embarrassed. It might feel awkward. They might not be ready to make a change. But I've seen people's posts on different websites where they said, I'm shocked and bothered that my family didn't approach me when I was doing this to myself. So I think that we should kind of start, in some way, start kind of like pushing society to be in that way that we're not scared to approach people when we say, hey, you know what, you're hurting yourself and I'm concerned and I want to help you. So I encourage those of you that have been kind of on the fence, if you have someone in your life that you want to approach, go for it. Just figure out what's going to be the best thing so you don't offend them, so you just let them know that you're really there to help. Lastly, I wanted to say, for those of you that thought I was mean to approach her, she actually did call me. I left her a phone number and an email, and she called me around 6:30. I left church around 12:30, so about 6 hours later she gave me a call, and she said, I actually have been looking for help and I would love to meet with you. So her and I are set to meet tomorrow morning, and I'm very excited to start helping her. I'm very glad that when God said go talk to that lady, I listened and I went and did it. Even though my flesh didn't want to, even though I was so concerned about what was going to happen, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I did it. And now I'm going to be able to get to help somebody because I allowed myself to make myself uncomfortable, and I took a chance at making her uncomfortable, because people are killing themselves with the type of food they're eating, the amounts of food they're eating, and we're just kind of, letting it go by. I think that food is the devil's greatest tool. I think that people are just, killing themselves, like I said, by the type of food they're eating and overeating. So I think it's time that we take a stand and start helping each other out. So, excuse me. I guess that's all. I've rambled on enough, but thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.